Before they came in, he arranged chairs in a straight line in the front. No kindergarten semicircle to make anyone feel too secure, and no desks or tables to hide behind. Leave them open, vulnerable, and put nothing between them and the big board where 8 by 10 glossies of the dead looked down at them. He took his usual place with one hip cocked on the front desk, friendly teacher facing the class. But he placed the chairs very close to the desk, less than 3 feet away. He'd be in their space, and from what he knew of these people, that would make them uncomfortable enough. Gino brought them in, closed the door, then leaned against it, arms folded across his chest. "Please have a seat." Magotsi gestured at the arrow-straight row of chairs and watched in bemused silence as they instinctively negated his foolish attempts at psychology. Without a moment's hesitation or a single exchanged word, they all moved their chairs a few feet back from the desk and into the forbidden semicircle. Grace McBride in the center, the others fanned protectively around her. He wondered if they realized how obvious it was. At least they looked at the pictures. Every one of them. The 20-year-old seminary student who'd found jogging a deadly pastime, his youthful features as serene and composed as they had probably been in life. Wilbur Daniels, whose broad, flabby face looked deceptively innocent on an autopsy table. And most disturbing of all, the 17-year-old Russian girl who looked heartbreakingly childlike with all the makeup washed away. Rambachan had done that with great and tender care before her mother came to see her. Grace McBride looked quietly at each photograph for a prolonged moment, as if she were forcing herself to do it, as if she owed it to them. The rest of them swept the board with their eyes very fast. Not a masochist in the group, except maybe for Roadrunner. The crime scene photos were up there too, terrifying duplicates of the crime scene photos in the game, and Roadrunner couldn't take his eyes off the girl on the stone angel, no doubt remembering the night he had positioned himself in that very place, setting the stage for the girl's murder. "Jesus God," he mumbled, and finally looked away. Annie Bolensky turned a hateful glare on Magotsi. Cheap shot, detective. He didn't even bother to pretend ignorance. "You didn't notice them when you were in here earlier?" "Sure, we noticed them." She pursed her pumpkin-orange lips angrily, but they weren't staring right at us. "Would you like me to turn the board around so you don't have to look at them?" Harley Davidson shifted his bulk with a squeak of leather. "What I want is for you to say whatever the hell you're going to say so we can get out of here and get back to work trying to trace this guy." Magotsi raised his brows. "Good. We're all on the same page." He looked at each of them in turn, and he did it slowly, letting the silence hang there, letting them read into it whatever they liked. The room was deathly still. "I'm going to lay this out to you the way we see it, and then you're going to have to decide whether or not to answer our questions, and then you're going to have to live with that decision." "What, no thumbscrews?" Mitch Cross asked bitterly. "We don't use thumbscrews anymore, asshole." Gino snarled from the door, confirming that he and Mitch Cross would probably never be bowling partners. Too slow. Magotsi shot him a warning look, then turned back to the others. "The thing is, you people are too tangled up in this case, and the longer it goes on, the more alarm bells go off. At first we thought it might be simple, that maybe there is some nut out there who just played your game and thought it would be fun to act it out for real. Then we found out that none of you is who you pretend to be, that there's something back there you're all hiding. We don't know if you're criminals on the lam, victims on the run, or both at the same time. Maybe there are warrants out all over the country for who you really are. Maybe you ticked off the mob. We don't know. And today, you tell us you're supposedly getting messages from the killer? Now, you people might not think there's a connection between what's happening now and whatever the hell happened to send you underground over 10 years ago, but to the objective observers, all of you, and especially Grace McBride, are in this so deep, you'd have to be blind not to see it." Roadrunner looked nervously at his friends. Annie Belinsky, sitting next to him, squeezed his arm with a plump hand in either reassurance or warning. He took a breath, that sounded too big for such a stick of a man.